Greetings everyone, Brett here with Hammerhead Model Making, back with another 5-minute review. Today we're going to be taking a look at Airfix's 1/72nd scale B-24H Liberator. Now this kit came out a few months ago, and it was kind of a surprise. Like they announced it, and then I felt like it was out just within like a couple of weeks. And I don't think anyone was really expecting a Liberator out of them in 72nd scale. I think the prior to that, the best ones we had were some Hasegawa kits that were decent but fairly old. So it is nice to have a new tooled B-24 on the market in 1/72nd scale. And as you can see here, this is pretty typical Airfix in terms of its overall look and, kind of what you're going to be getting in the kit. Say what you will about Airfix panel lines in this scale. They are what they are. You either love them, or you either tolerate them, or you hate them. It's kind of up to you. There are some large ejector pin markings and in the interior of the kit, but I think if I read the instructions correctly, most of those should get all covered up by other parts. So won't have to worry about dealing with ejector pin marks. Not that you'll really see much in the interior anyways. It's pretty cramped in there once you get everything put in. But you do get pretty much a full interior with this nose to tail. So that's pretty nice. You get separate control surfaces for your ailerons, rudders, elevators, and flaps, so that's pretty nice. Here you get a good look at the surface detail on the kit. It's a mix of recessed panel lines and recessed rivets. The plastic feels like it has a slight texture to it. It doesn't feel like it. It looks like it has a slight texture to it. It feels smooth to the touch, but plenty of rivets on the bomb bay doors. Here are the engine faces. They're very simple. Pretty basic engines. You do get the option of open or closed cowl flaps, which is nice. You got all your propellers there, lots of little bits, your engine nacelles with the recesses for the turbochargers. You do get a nice set of bombs here to load up your Liberator with. You can do the bomb doors open or closed, so that's kind of nice. Lots of little details here, just little bits that go inside. Everything feels a little chunky though, if I'm being completely honest. Nose section is done on a separate sprue, which gives me the impression that they might be having different versions coming down the line, which would be nice if they did, because they didn't do that with their B-17, which is kind of a shame. So who knows? We'll see. Again, ejector pin marks seem pretty standard. Clear parts, they are crystal clear, very sharp, very little deformation on the curved surfaces like the turrets. However, they made some really odd choices with how they assemble some of their turrets. Like the lower ball turret, for example, you have the two halves that you're looking at just there. There's going to be a large seam running right through the middle of that turret. And I believe that's all going to be on painted areas, like no clear parts. But nevertheless, like that's still kind of a pain to have to deal with a seam line there that you'll have to remove. But it is what it is. You do get two different options for the cockpit canopy framing, and lots of little windows. But yeah, the actual turrets themselves look really nice. Decals, you get two marking options. I do like how Airfix breaks up the common decals and then each marking option separately. Just kind of a nice little thing that makes things a little bit easier on the modeler. But I've never had a problem with Airfix decals. I usually like them. We have here we have the marking guides for the two different options here. Pretty standard, olive drab over gray. And then going into the instructions, pretty much most of the instructions cover all of the stuff that goes inside the airplane. There's just a lot of plastic going in there. But it's pretty typical Airfix, so nice. Call out like which parts get added in, when and where. It's pretty logical. I generally like Airfix instructions. They make sense to me. So here's kind of my final thoughts on this kit. I find it weird that Airfix chose to just randomly add rivet lines places. Like you can see in this picture here, like there's rivets at the very front of those panel lines, but nowhere else on the nose. And I think they would have been better off either like committing to no rivet detail or all rivet detail. This weird, like, we're going to put some rivets here, some there. This panel line gets rivets. This panel line doesn't get rivets. Who decides, what's the... it seems weird. And I know, I mean, obviously they can show that they can do rivets here, and they're improving with that kind of detail, like on their Sea King kit. But you know, it is what it is. So that's my take on it. Overall, I think the kit looks decent enough, and I think it's definitely one that if you're a fan of the B-25, I think it might be worth picking up. So anyways, thanks for watching. Shout out to the patrons. We'll see you on the next video.